This is Fred Beck from Fred Beck Fighting. I'm in the Wasserman Boxing offices in London today. It's been last time I was here was May, so it's definitely been quite a while. I'm joined by Kalle Ireland. It's good we can do an interview again, Kalle.
Yes, you have been after me, and I'm very happy that we have finally managed to make it.
Kalle is the hardest person ever to interview. I mean, you'd have thought people like KSI or Logan Paul would be difficult to interview. Kalle is on another level right now.
They're great at doing it. You know, I'm terrible at interviews. You know, I'm not good at interviews.
A boxing promoter is bad at interviews. It's very hard to believe.
I've got Mams. Mams is the king of the interviews. Yeah.
I think you prefer doing interviews more than Mams. Mams likes doing them, but you love them. You've been doing them for the last 10 years as a boxing promoter.
24 years, mate. But thank you. I'll take the 10. No, it's always a pleasure.
Certainly. Let's go with this then. The Nashville card has been announced. The full card, I believe, is out now.
Can I see you in Nashville, Fred?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Good.
As always.
Good.
I like the fact it's in Nashville. We get to get out of the country. The best thing about this job is the two things. It's the meeting people and then the travelling. The travelling is the most fun part.
You gave me such a tough time up in Leeds when we did our last interview a month ago, where you said, "Oh, you told us this, that, and the other, and then you took us to nowhere last year." And I corrected you and said, "Yes, I told you we might take you to Ibiza, Fred, but we gave you the Prime card, didn't we?" What numbers does your channel do on the Prime card? Fantastic, I'm guessing.
I think about 4.9 million views in 1 month, and that's zero. That's no shorts. That's full-length interviews.
Sponsors out there.
That was a lot more than the actual Misfits boxing channel, by the way, as
I
well.
was about to give you a real pitch there. Sponsors out there, you hear that? 4.9 million. Contact me. I'm Fred Beck's agent, and I'll give you a good price.
We do need a sponsor. Every other boxing channel is a sponsor.
I'm on 10%.
Fred is fighting it. You can have 10%. I'll be perfectly happy. You can have 50% if you can get anything. Times are tough right now.
Great sponsors.
I'd have anything.
Really?
Look at the microphone. It's just got Fred is fighting. Fred is fighting. This is the only interview
You're
channel.
building your own brand value. You're
This
smart.
is the only interview channel that doesn't have any sponsors. Everyone else, they always have sponsored by this, or branding here. We got nothing. We got the colour red, and that's it.
That is a huge number. It's 4.9 million. I'm impressed around the Prime card. Yeah. So, you know, just guessing you made a few quid out of that. I mean, isn't that better than going to Ibiza?
Yes, but I believe the Ibiza card was scheduled for summertime,
So you
and
want
the
it both.
the Ibiza card was really for like the July
I
time,
let you down.
and then the Prime card was in October. So it's 2 different months. But you know what? We move. I guess this year might be a chance. How come you guys haven't released like a list of posters, or like not like a poster with you and Mamson looking very fancy with a list of dates like last year?
Because because of people like you, who then in a year's time say, "Oh, I told you that date."
Yeah.
No, joking aside, we actually have a very strategic interview tomorrow. With our partners at the Zone to discuss dates all the way up to November.
Wow. Why not just the rest of the year? Why only to November?
Because I like to leave 1 month out. Always, you know, there's always one little banger left at the end of the year for Christmas.
Leave one for backup. That's smart. In terms of the Nashville card, which fight are you most looking forward to?
It's got to be. I always lose track of the names. Outnumbered, isn't it? I mean, outnumbered tag, and I'll tell you why I lose track, because we had about 5 different working names on that before. Outnumbered tag. I've got to say that fascinates me. Yeah, it's always. I find the concepts. I guess because I come from traditional boxing, like I always look at them and think, nah, impossible. Like we're working on one at the moment, by the way, not to give away too much here, but we're working on one at the moment, which involves...
The Royal Rumble, I believe, isn't it? With the 30 men in the ring.
How do you know more than I know? And no, it's not going to be called the Royal Rumble. We don't want a lawsuit. But let's say it's inspired by that. No, I can't say too much. No. Am I interviewing you or are you interviewing me? So let's go back to what I was saying. So I look at these concepts, and I'm always the one like, no, how the hell are we going to do that logistically? How's that going to work? I'm the boring guy because I've got to try and shoot holes in it. And sometimes I successfully shoot holes in them and they don't happen. We've got some concepts that will never get out there because they weren't right.
The steel cage one with the chairs in. I think that was one where you used to like, oh man, he can't do the steel chairs.
Again, I spent a lot of time on the phone to Mams, but I'm thinking that you spend even more time on the phone to Mams. I think I'm somehow thinking, Fred, that you somehow come up with some of these concepts. So when I have, let's say, stronger discussions with Mams around certain content, maybe I should just call you up and say, Fred, what a stupid idea that is.
Fred, you right, idiot. What are you doing on the phone?
I think that this concept has, it's an involvement obviously of the tag team, and now it's almost like the 2 fights in one night meets tag team.
It's kind of one-upping 2 fights in one night.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think that's the interesting part. I think, again, for me, sorry to be the boring guy, but it's interesting to see how the concept actually pulls through, whether that could ever cross over into the traditional space. And I think that this year, I think the next 18 months, some of these concepts are going to cross over.
I can't imagine Robert Smith from the British Sport of Boxing going ahead.
I think that the whole sport of boxing will definitely be taking, and we will be as well as traditional promoters, and there's certain things that Misfits sort of introduces, does very well, and I can see that wandering over the fence.
Can I request a change in the outnumbered match? Can it be a case of, if you want it to go really super viral, can it be a case of Fox actually has to be... I was with Fox yesterday, and I asked them, and they're up for this concept. Can it be he has to beat knockout or beat both men? Is that an option?
So sorry?
So I presume that if Fox knocks out Evil Hero, the match is over, Fox wins. Yeah. Can it be a thing where if he knocks out Evil Hero, Most Wanted gets in the ring, and he has to knock out Most Wanted as well? Can it not be he has to beat both men?
It's an interesting...
that's like a true outnumbered match.
And it's a true 2 fights, because you've got to actually beat both men, don't you? Take that with Mams a Million, and he can sell me on it, and then we can work out the logistics of it. But no, yeah, I mean, again, I think that, look, go back to Survivor Tag, actually, funny enough, also in Nashville.
Main event as well.
I thought it was great. I thought it was fun. But I also saw things...
You saw a few holes where you could have gone around longer.
We're going to get holes, aren't you? So I thought that it was a bit too slow in stages. It was a little bit too slow early on. And I think there's certain things you could do to definitely improve that. But I would like to see that again. I find it... Not. It's obviously tag team's the classic, isn't it? But I think you could improve it. And like anything new, you can always improve.
I guess when you do such a crazy concept like that, it's not going to run 100% smoothly the whole time. You've got to give it 2 or 3 fights to get it kind of nailed down, and that's completely fair when you have such a kind of out there concept. I'll talk about this then, but lightweight tournament. This has got a lot of people talking. You're introducing, I think, 4 or 5 new people with the Misfits universe haven't seen yet. Yep. Is this something that, obviously you're the king of tournaments, doing the World Boxing Super Series? Is this kind of like the Misfits version of that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I invented the tournament concept in sports, but I've done the biggest ones in boxing, traditional boxing. So it's great to the purpose of a tournament, in whether it's traditional boxing or crossover boxing, is that during the tournament, storylines develop, and you start to say, the nice thing as a fan is you say, right, if he wins and he wins, they're going to fight. And when you see that dynamic happening during the tournament, it makes it much more fun to follow and much more fun to report on, actually, because you've got lots of questions about, who would you like to fight next, etc. So if you looked at the first World Boxing Super Series, actually not the first and the second season, it was pick. So it was crazy. You had eight people, 8 fighters. You had the 4 seeds, and you had 4 non-seeds, and the seeds picked who they were fighting. So you might say, okay, that's not that interesting. No, it is actually in boxing. It's a bit different to say, I want to play you at chess. No, so you'll want to fight me. So if I'm picked first, obviously You think I'm the weakest out of these 4. So straight away you've got beef. Straight away you've got like, what? Like, and the reactions of some of the fighters at these where we did the galas, the draw galas, so to speak, was fantastic. That part we haven't done yet, but I see that coming into Misfits as well.
Well, you got the 2 really, really good fights: Joey Knight versus Bobby Hulk, and then you've also got my favourite fight of the card. Well, actually, no, the main event's my favourite, but then you've also got Yachty Gang versus Lil Cray Cray, which would probably be the most skilled fight, one of the most skilled fights Misfits have ever seen. Not even just on the card. Misfits kind of level standard. I think it'd be like a Dean or Lead level, where it's like, wow, these guys can actually box, can actually fight, and it's a real technical matchup.
Yeah, I think also, Joey Knight saw him in Leeds. It's a strong level. It's a strong level. We've talked about, Mams Mania has talked about Misfits Pro in the past. It's in that direction, isn't it? It's in that direction, certainly.
That's interesting. Are you guys going to do Misfits MMA?
Why is that interesting? You said that with like one of those... This is interesting, I know something you don't know. It was one of those faces. What have you and Mams been talking about?
I'm always very careful what I say on these interviews. That's why a lot of stuff is bleeped. So I don't have to have like
There's only 4.9 million viewers watching your channel, so,
Not this month. This month's been a bit more quiet month since the Brazil card was called off.
It's not called off. Wait, you can only call something off once it's called on. Show me the press release when it went out.
Kalle, so you're so easy to wind up.
How?
It's just pushing a button.
He got me there. You've totally fished me in there. Yeah, go on.
You're my favourite person to interview, I have to admit, though. Like, in terms of, like, most fun, but you can just relax. Anyway, let's write this then. Misfits MMA this year. Do you reckon we're going to see a few MMA matchups on the Misfits show?
Again, you're announcing a division within our business that hasn't been announced. Misfits MMA. Here, you heard it first. Fred's announced it. Yeah, it's something we're looking at. It's something that we're very interested in doing. Just wait for the... I phrased the question differently. Say, do you think Misfits MMA will happen this year? You're rolling like it's been done and announced. It's like you and the Brazil card. I know it's a wind-up, though. But yeah, no, look, Misfits MMA, obviously there are people who have been in... who are active and been in Misfits in the past who come from the MMA scene. There's also names that have been bandied about that might be on Misfits, could be on Misfits. Mike Perry, for example, Darren Till, for example, who come from the MMA scene. So will you see a Misfits MMA? Well, I'd say a lot of them, Dylan Dennis, for example, he obviously prefers MMA, and he's sort of, loving my aim. He's popular in the scene. Mm-hmm. So you've got naturals to say straight away, let's just do Misfits MMA. That's something, of course, that we will be looking at this year. And you're right, it will happen. Whether it's sooner or later, it will happen. Right now, this week, though, Fred, is knuckle down those dates. That's the key here, because we've still got too many ideas for the amount of dates we want to do. We don't want to overkill it, but we do sort of want to keep on going on that sort of one a month, or let's say over the year on our core business of Misfits, that we have sort of 10, 12 shows. This will be Misfits X, there's own Misfits Series X, whichever you want to say it, X Series 13, in an incredibly short space of time. So that's something that I think we can all be excited about, and we don't just want to keep that going. We want to up it. I'm not going to talk too much about new territories because I'll get shot down by you in a second. So, but yeah, new markets, of course, not territories, markets. I call it markets.
That's more fancy.
Exactly. I'd love to go down under with it. When I say down under, I mean Australia, for people that don't understand that expression.
That was meant to be happening in what? The KSI versus the KSI Tampa card, I think, back in Misfits 04, but I mean, we move.
Listen again, meant to be happening. Yes, it was meant to be happening. Unless it's actually on our page, on Misfits official page,
Their website.
Like
It needs updating.
the website. Oh, Chris Ridgway, that's a dig at you, mate.
Chris.
Oh, you're on hot water there. No, does it need update?
I don't know. I'm messing around.
I haven't been on it in a while.
Same.
Okay, watch that space. We're updating it shortly. Go check out misfits.com. Right.
I've got an interesting point here.
Misfitsboxing.com, though.
Misfits.com, it should come up. You guys have a big football agency here at Watson Boxing. Have you guys been speaking to Wayne Rooney?
Have we been speaking to Wayne Rooney?
I mean, he wants to get into management. He might come to work for you. You never know.
I haven't spoken to Wayne directly. It's come via an agent, as it normally does with footballers. Actually, I've met Wayne a few times privately over the years. But
Is he nice?
He's a top boy,
Nice?
top boy, and actually. He'd be cracking on Misfits. He really would. So this is down to him. He wants to, take. He's making the right decision. Whatever he does, he sees it. If I do boxing, I want to take it seriously. I guess he's a sportsman. He's not going to half do it. And then he looks at management, of course, and he wants to continue with that. So I guess he's weighing that part up, and our doors are open. I think he'd be a cracking addition to the scene. It's just like, I remember watching him play as well. You think, wow, I bet he can have a row.
I remember his bicycle kick years ago against Man City. That was cool. That's kind of the Wayne Rooney moment I remember.
About his shooting skills. I was talking about his, he was just, Rooney was like a bulldog, on
Like when he did skinhead Rooney, when he was aggressive.
The way he played, though. I mean, he was like, if you're a defender, he's coming at you, you're going to think twice about standing up to him. Right. You're going to go to ground probably pretty quick. And he's a really good lad as well.
What fight does a higher number of pay-per-views? Jake Paul or KSI versus Wayne Rooney?
I think that Jake Paul is like KSI, and KSI obviously has quite a global following, or a global, he's very big he's actually bigger than in the UK in markets like Australia, South Africa, certain Asian markets. So it's difficult to say, I'd say. I mean, Jake brings the US, obviously,
Yeah, true.
which, but by the way, though KSI has very good American numbers as well. So I don't know. It's a toss-up, isn't it? I think to see Wayne Rooney in a ring would be pretty iconic. Yeah.
That's true. Do you agree with Eddie Hearn thinking Wayne Rooney does beat Jake Paul?
I know that Wayne's boxed at some sort of level.
I'm going to be honest. Jake Paul would beat Wayne Rooney.
Yeah,
Let's be real here. Jake Paul's a boxer.
I've been around in boxing too long to make predictions like that without having seen Wayne Rooney actually lace up a pair of gloves. So let me default on that question on the basis that I have no knowledge of how Rooney looked. The way Wayne Rooney looked as a player, I'd say Wayne Rooney all day long. Just super athletic and very tough. And I'm sure Jake's won a few fights and stuff, but Rooney's captain England, played in some of the toughest matches. So as an athlete, there's no competition there. What can he do in the boxing room? Well, that's something that we might find out.
We'll find out indeed. Okay, there's one last thing before we wrap this up. KSI, he's maybe fighting this year. I'm guessing hopefully summertime, maybe kind of later autumn time. My prediction for him fighting. Have you been talking to Jake Paul's camp? Any news on that? They make the Jake Paul fight happen? He's fighting this weekend, I believe, or the weekend after next.
Is he?
Yes. On Mana Serrano's undercard.
On the Serrano undercard. That for me is a bizarre one that he's fighting on an undercard.
But do you not feel like he's trying to give more press to Mana Serrano for women's boxing? And kind of make sure Mana Serrano's a big star, a respect level?
Yeah, I think it's their business model. They got to work out what works for them. I don't know. I think that the biggest money fight, of course, when you talk money, is of course KSI Jake Paul. It's just another level. Does it work out? you know, to put together a deal like that is much easier than people think it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you can leave the ego at the doors, no, the ego's at the door, and it's a business deal, isn't it? You know, and it's one that should be quite simple to do.
When was let's ask this. This is me. This might put you on your toes. When was the last time you spoke to Jake Paul's team about the fight?
I've never spoken to him.
Never spoken to Jake Paul's team, really?
Never. I don't know. So that went via, I think last time via Mams and Joe Markowski at the Zone. Man, if they throw me in to do the negotiation, I'm more than happy. I've put on one or two massive fights in the past, which is probably a little bit more complicated, even I'd say.
Who's been the most complicated?
I'd say going back a few years now.
So like throwing your phone against the wall, like I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, well, Eubank Ben, but I can't really say that I got that over the line yet. That's been going on a couple of years, so that's definitely the most complicated, but without a happy ending.
Is that the most that's
like
pulling your hair out moment?
I say I recommend myself to go in and make this deal between the parties here. I would not throw that in on the CV factor.
Does Eubank versus Ben? We don't talk about pro boxing. This is kind of exciting. I'm more careful when I talk about Misfit stuff. When I talk about pro boxing stuff, I can say more what is cool. Does Eubank Ben do more pay-per-view buys than KSI versus Tommy Fury 2? The
KSI,
rematch.
Tommy Fury 2
versus Eubank versus Ben.
I think similar, very similar.
But they're similar, but who's going to be higher?
It's. I know the numbers, obviously. I think probably there's still the KSI fights because it reaches that extra demographic. But we had a lot of traditional boxing fans tune in that night.
And of course, KSI fight can happen in the UK.
Well, now you're trying to go fishing again here. You know, they might see you back Ben on Misfits.
That sounds very good. No, it makes sense. The commission, obviously, the British World of Boxing.
We do it as a tag team.
Imagine them with their dads.
Yeah.
That'd be quite good, actually.
That'd be quite funny.
That we could do. How many would that do? That would do 1 million pay-per-view buys easy. Them with a tag team. With a tag team with their dads fighting.
10 million. I mean, the whole country would be watching 65 million.
It'll capture the older generation as well, isn't it?
Smash everything out of the park, 100%. But going back to it, I think that the toughest one was definitely Klitschko versus David Haye. And that was like there was 6 parties involved and it was horrendous, and we managed to get that over the line. That was 10 years ago. That's actually still, I think, the UK pay-per-view traditional boxing record.
What was it?
It was 1.1.
1.1. Really? It was that big?
It was that big. 1
Wow.
point.
Oh, insane.
No, it was 1 point something. Obviously, very large pay-per-view at the time. Football stadium in Germany, but that took a long time to get over the line as well.
Why can't we have a commission that tracks pay-per-view buys? Would that make everyone's lives a lot easier? Just like an authority.
Yeah.
Like the British World of Boxing, but like they're a company, a very honest company that tracks everyone's pay-per-view numbers, and so no one can ever make up pay-per-view numbers, so we can truly see what everyone's doing and no one's lying or moving numbers up and down and stuff. I'm not saying anyone does, but I'm saying they won't exactly know.
But what benefit would that be? I mean, apart from that, they always come out sort of. Some of them are ridiculous when you read them. I'm like, who the hell put that out? You know, and you know, what people don't realise is actually pay-per-views are very tough to sell. You know,
It's even harder nowadays.
That depends. You know, we just had a record breaker 4 months ago. So
of course, yeah, but that was an insane card.
But, I mean,
so, in terms of people like illegally streaming, that's why it's more difficult nowadays. That's the main reason I feel.
Of course, there's illegal streams. On the other hand, I think people are also like, there's more people now who have done illegal streaming and realised in boxing, it's different to a football match, I guess. I'm not condoning any usage of streaming full stop, but in a boxing fight, you illegally stream it and you're not exactly going to be watching like, you know, oh, it's a knockout. Oh, no. Oh, my stream's gone. You know, so it's a problem. It's a problem for every artist or sport. But I think that problem in boxing is more manageable because ultimately, you know, if you're not being asked to buy it for 12 months and, you know, whatever, when you buy a pay-per-view, you're you're buying it because you're going to get the experience of the evening. But if you're sitting around with a few mates watching it, you're going to do like for the sake of I don't know $5 a head. Are you going to sit there and watch some jilted version of it? I don't think so. How do we go into this? So why would you with the numbers? I don't really know what benefit it would have.
I guess then you could judge someone's value.
Yeah, listen, but we know the numbers.
It's also good for bragging rights as well.
Yeah, exactly. But
That's
they do that anyways. Read some of the bragging rights out there that people put out. I've done this many buys and this. It's complete nonsense. Some of them. But at the same time, for us, we know the numbers. So yes, the people who have to make the commercial decisions and they ultimately pay the checks. For us, it's very important, and we thankfully get those numbers. And some of the information in the public forum is accurate, but it's a private business. It's not, this isn't like publicly. It's not taxed.
It's not like company. It's not like Sainsbury's. I was asking Tesco's, how many chocolate bars did you sell in Christmas? It's kind of true, actually. Yeah.
It's not like the government giving a subsidy or something. It's not like tax money that's gone out there, and unfortunately, all the money does get taxed. But we're not relying on sort of public funding.
So HMRC, the guys to ask to get the true.
Exactly. They know the exact numbers. Unfortunately, every single bloody one of them.
That one accountant working at HMRC knows everything. He'll be the new Michael Benson on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. Every pound on that pay-per-view is taxed at 20% on VAT to start off with, and then we got more than that, unfortunately, as well. But that's part of life. But at the same time, it's not. I don't know what benefit it would be to have it, public viewing public pay-per-view numbers, because at the end of the day, it's a business, and business is private. I know that won't go down too well, but that's just the way it is.
No, it's true. You're not wrong there at all. Let's just run over a couple of things before we leave off. Let's just run over a few fighters. What's next for Slim?
Look, he was very vocal up in Leeds. I mean, he's always calling out KSI, of course, who's back in the gym and working out his year and stuff like that. He's made it very public he wants Jake Paul this year. But he's, I think, I don't know, Slim, go to Leeds and then call out KSI when KSI's just announced that he's coming back and he's just, in training. I thought it was a bit premature. I think there's some good fights out. I'd see Salt Pappy too,
the rematch.
Yeah, I think it was a great fight. I'd like to watch that fight again, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Would you like to see that again?
I would. I don't think Slim.
Let me flip the question on you. Who
I
should
don't.
put Slim fight next?
Blueface.
Good fight. Yeah.
Is he in jail? He's always kind of getting in trouble. That's the reason. He's always getting in trouble.
The thing is, like, the Bluefaces, and sometimes in this scene, sometimes I have to refresh my memory on names. With him, I don't have to refresh my memory on the names because we had him on, and then there was a scandal. We had to take him off.
That was the first Misfits fight against Temper, but since then he's fought a couple of times.
Yes, correct. And he's someone that we've always had on our radar. I'd love him to be on Misfits if he's permitted.
Hopefully. Yeah, I think the Soul Pappy, but I don't think Slim would take the Soul Pappy rematch just yet, because I think in Slim's mind, he'd want to move on to the next step and not be in the same level, you get what I mean? If I was to play devil's advocate and back Slim's corner.
Oh, there we go.
Your timer.
That's the meter needs feeding, Fred. No, that is actually the timer, but don't worry, we got.
You might. Kalle does an interview before this and does about 50 minutes,
and
we haven't really been. We've been going a lot less time, so clearly, Kalle still cares about professional boxing more than Misfits. Kalle silent. Oh my gosh.
No, we were talking about something. We were boxing unrelated.
Oh really?
Yeah, I was talking about modern art.
Wow, how interesting.
Yeah, expert on modern art. I wish.
I wish you had some art in here. It's quite like here you got some nice pictures, but it's quite a bland room. It's definitely needs some.
Autograph wall there with about 100 Premier League players, and he's saying it's a bland room.
There's a PlayStation in the corner.
Yeah, there you go.
This is why This is why all the cards been called off, because I was playing FIFA.
There you go. Now you know what I'm doing all day. Instead of trying to get more and more dates for Misfits, it's all about my FIFA. Quite good at FIFA.
Really? Yeah. What division are you?
I'm not going to tell you that, am I?
Okay, one last thing. I do appreciate your time. One last thing. KSI and Jake Paul, it can be made this year from 0 to 100. What percentage is most likely that will be made?
If both guys want it and everyone is on the business side of things is is prepared to take some and give some, there's 100%. Why not?
So 100.
It's not a complicated fight to make. I know it sounds it, but I've done much more complicated fights than that over the years. It's so big that there's enough reasons to do it, and that's normally in boxing, whether it's traditional or crossover boxing. That is what it is, and I've seen, the discussion first of all of where it is it America or in the UK? I think we've already said it. We want it in Vegas, in the Sphere, or wherever. So
have you been to the Sphere yet?
That by the way, sorry, that really is probably the biggest part where you start.
So is doing it in Vegas in the Sphere bigger than doing it in Wembley Stadium?
Well, good luck doing that in later in the year when it's a bit colder.
August time,
if it's summer,
early September.
Yeah, it's a cracker. Really, you should even do two. You do one in the States, one over here. But
how many people can fit in the Sphere? What's the capacity?
I don't think it's that big. It's an indoor arena.
It's like 15k.
Yeah, no, I think it's a bit more than that. But I'd be lying if I knew I think it's around 20. But
okay,
again, I'm guessing. Yeah. It's a great. I mean, it is a cracking venue. So but and Vegas is that thing. It's the home of big fights, isn't it? So
that'd be good. That'd be good having the Sphere. The outside would be really cool. The KSI Jake Paul. Then you always get the arguments. Who's gonna think will be first on the poster?
I think that it's very simple.
Would you be happy to have Jake Paul's name on the poster or first?
Look, at the end of the day, that's a fighter thing. So I can't comment because it ain't my name on the poster. Yeah. I personally wouldn't care. But as long as my name's called out as the winner at the end, I think that's the most important thing if I was boxing. But there's ways of solving that. Toss a coin.
Yeah.
True. Toss a coin. You can have 50% of the posters printed or that way round, the other way round. There's lots of different ways of spinning it. That won't be I can't imagine at least that would be the be all and end all.
Okay. One last thing, actually. Big John Fury versus Cole Froch. Anything on this?
Yeah. I mean, look, people I think took my little humorous tweet a little bit too seriously. I think.
Do you run your Twitter, or does someone else run it for you?
No. So Sound and Bros, you'll know when it's me.
Right.
Those sort of comments.
So you got a really outlandish, offensive tweet that's going to get you cancelled.
Announced this here and that here. It's probably Ridge Road, but most of it's me. It's like or Nissa. It's just and a lot of the knee jerk stuff that gets a lot of traction. So that. It's a joke, and why I was saying it was a joke is I'm guessing, and I've promoted Carl Froch a few times.
I love his YouTube channel, Carl Froch. He's so raw and honest. It's so funny.
Carl Froch boxed at super middleweight, which is 76 kilos or 168 pounds. Mm-hmm. So I'm just guessing, right? And this is a guess. Carl's probably still in quite good shape, so I'm guessing he's walking around at 85, 90 kilos today. Maybe up to 190. I don't know, 190 pounds. I don't know, I'm not that good with the conversions, but he's a big guy. But he's, John Fury is, and John, you're slightly larger. I'd say that John probably would have been a heavyweight, and certainly is still a heavyweight, and a big heavyweight at that. So, like weight-wise, it can't happen, I mean, there is something called health and safety, and that part I think rules that fight out. As funny as it would be to settle that beef.
What about Big Joe Egan then? He seems the same weight. Yeah, he's making a lot of noise.
That's a cracking fight. Yeah. But you asked me about Carl Froch, not Joe Egan.
Okay. Maybe someone might be having a Joe Egan. He's doing a great job promoting though. He's doing a lot of noise on Twitter. Have to head down to interview him. But Kalle, your time is up here. We've been here for quite a long time.
There you go.
Hopefully we'll do another one of these
Like,
before.
when you say my time's up. I'm like, no, you make me look good here. I don't want to be the one.
Good PR, you know.
Look at me, you could
I'm good for Misfits PR. Yeah.
You are
Hopefully we'll do.
a machine, mate.
Hopefully we'll do another one of these at some point. Hopefully it's not like another 10 months wait. Maybe I can put my name in the waiting list now, so
Well,
I don't have to wait so
in
long.
a few weeks, but we can do one before then if you want.
Well, but 5 week ones are just standard. These are like the one-off ones. These are like the nuggets where you get the really good information. And 5 weeks is just so stressful. Doing 15 interviews a day. These are the nice ways. I might just start turning up, to be dead honest. I won't book anymore. I'll just rock up. And you can't. If you're there in person, it's very difficult to say no.
I am. Unfortunately, most days when I'm not travelling here.
Really?
Yeah, quite easy to find.
And there's not many shows going on. Miss Wasserman don't really put many shows on anymore, so you're going to be here quite.
We've given up. We've given up. No, but if you are interested in boxing, traditional boxing, next week, Channel 5, Sam Eggington versus Abasparu European Championship. That's my little pub. It's a great fight.
He's had a few losses in his career, but he's extremely tough and he's worth the money.
We're not putting any shows on this year. We just happen to have one next week, but
Where is it?
Telford.
Telford. Oh wow,
Yes.
Telford Leisure Centre.
Yes.
Great venue.
Telford Leisure Centre. No, it's not Telford.
It's where Jay Swingler fought. No, Jay Swingler, Nick LMAO.
It's Leisure Centre. It's 4,000 people going there. That's not Leisure Centre. Leisure Centre's 1,100 people.
Oh.
Yeah. I like the way your little pop there, that show will do 2 million plus views.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Channel 5.
On something called, you heard of television, no?
Yeah, Channel 5.
Yeah, Channel 5, free to air. Boom.
Your numbers, the Channel 5 numbers are really, really good. Remember the Josh Kelly, Troy Williamson numbers? Those were fantastic for Wasserman.
You do watch a bit of traditional boxing, eh?
I did my background. I watched professional. Wasserman was the first show I ever covered.
Really?
Yeah.
Fun.
York Hall, Harvey Horn when he got knocked out. Yeah.
Yes, that was on like.
You guys had when I had no subscribers. You guys had me on your show. That's why I always love Wasserman.
There you go.
Always back me from the beginning.
There you go.
Shout out Wasserman, man.
There you go.